Today I'm going to be showing you how to solve a piecewise function. Okay, let's get started. New function that we're going to solve. Okay, the first step you will need to do is plug in 3, which will give you, well, you'll plug in 3 into the first part of the equation, which will give you 1.7. Plot that on your graph. An open circle, because 3 cannot be 1.7. 3 is greater. Then you'll plug in 2, because 2 is less than 3. And it will give you 1.4. You'll plug in 1 and 0, which will give you 1 and 0. -1 is less than 3, but just remember there cannot be a negative under the radical sign. So you'll connect the dots. Next, you will do the second piece of this function, which is saying that 3 is 8. Now you do the last part of the equation, which is saying that x is greater than 3. So for anything greater than 3, any number greater than 3, you'll plug into this equation. -x squared plus 5. So first we'll do 3 squared. Remember that you'll do the exponents first, and then the negative. So you'll do 3 squared, which is 9, times the negative, which is -9, plus 5, which is -4. Open circle, because we already know that 3 is 8. Now you'll do 4. 4 squared is 16, times the negative, -16 plus 5 is -11. Which is down here. And we can also do 5. 5 squared is 25, times the negative is -25, plus 5 is -20. Just down here. Connect the dots. Put an arrow because you know that the graph is going to continue to go down to -infinity. This is what your graph should look like. Maybe I should darken it up for you. Okay. But we're not done yet. We still need to find our domain, range, and behavior, discontinuities, and asymptotes. Let's start with the domain, which is real easy because we know it's going to be all real numbers. So, -infinity, infinity. Next is the range, which is quite difficult. Remember that the range of a function is a set of all the stuff you can get out of the function. So what can we get out of this function? We know that the graph goes to -infinity. So it will be -infinity. We also know it could be -4. These will be in parentheses because the function isn't -infinity or -4. So you'll do a break. Then we know that the function can be 0. So it would be bracket 0, 1.7. in parentheses, bracket, the function can be 8. The function can be 8, so bracket 8, bracket. So there's your range. Now for the end behavior. As x goes to infinity, f of x also goes to infinity. Now, as x goes to negative infinity, this might be quite tricky. There will be no left in behavior. Now, to the discontinuities. There is a discontinuity at x equals 3. In asymptotes, the easiest one, of course. As you can see, there isn't any asymptotes. So, no. And there you have it. We've just solved a piecewise function.